Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well. Today we're going to be working on knees. So very specifically, you can see I've put little pads, or not pads, but little sticky notes on my knees. In a way, this is a little homage to my teacher, Madeline Black, who would often put on stickies so that we, when we were watching her teach, could track what she was focusing on. So today we're focusing on knees. What you'll need today for class is a ball, a strap of some sort. You can even use like a bathrobe tie. Dog leash is good, and a yoga block. Possibly a stool would be really helpful, or a chair. All right, so what we're gonna start with is working on the soles of the feet. So as we address the knees, you'll start noticing that I'm not just gonna put attention on the knees themselves, but actually the joints and the parts of the body, the lower and the upper half of the leg, which are really responsible for helping to keep that knee really healthy. And if the feet are really tight and the ankles are really tight, it puts a lot of strain on the knee. Likewise, when the hips are really tight, it puts a lot of strain on the knee. So let's start with the feet. Always a great place to start because it's the foundation of our body. So we're gonna warm up the soles of the feet just by simply rolling the feet. So I am not going very specifically through the foot pattern today. Just general opening up of the soles of the feet is always a really good thing, but particularly if you have knee pain, knee discomfort, because the soles of the feet connect to the deep muscles of the lower leg, which crisscross the back of the knee joint and connect ultimately up all the way to the hamstrings and all the way actually up the chain through the body. So opening up the soles of the feet in a way really invites all the muscles in the back of your legs and into the deep lower legs to wake up a little bit and start to be present and more accountable. So we're rolling the soles of the feet. I'm going along the big toe line, the second toe line, just doing about 2 or 3 at each ray. It's called a ray. Going from the toe ball all the way towards the heel. If you have plantar fasciitis, please go very, very light on the ball. It's not recommended that you go very heavy. We're just trying to open up the soles of the feet, not irritate the tissue. And as always, if you are seeing a doctor currently for knee pain or a physical therapist, please check in with them before you do any sort of workout routine. And fifth toe ball side. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other foot. So already I notice a significant difference between my right and left foot, and I'm rolling now on the big toe ball. I have this like little splash of light on my mat, which is kind of nice, keeping me warm. It's a little chilly here in the studio. So I'm rolling the big toe ball, and then I'm going to go to the second toe ball. And as you can see, my stickies here, they're directed forward. I'm actually rolling my feet forward. I'm not rolling off to the side. So this idea of having a neutral foot and being able to stretch the soles of the feet out in a neutral foot position is really beneficial. If your feet are really tight or you're feeling instability, your ball might start kind of ping-ponging all over the place. That's all right. As your feet become more malleable, that will become less of an issue. All right, one more. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to move the ball out of the way, and we're going to go to our knee stirs. So you're going to bring your feet and knees together. If you have knock knee or valgus knee angle, bring your legs as close together as you possibly can and draw your thighs towards each other. You can always put a little towel or something between your ankles as well. Otherwise, everybody's going to bring their feet together, but I notice one side is a little higher than the other. All right, so what I'm going to do, you can follow my little stickies. I'm going over to the right, coming down to the left and up. And as I'm doing these knee circles, I'm going to do 10 going one way and 10 going the other. I am moving my ankles and feet as well, as am I moving my hips. And I start to notice where the tightness shows up. These are really, really beneficial for the kind of lubricating the meniscus and for stretching the hips, stretching the inner and outer knees and thighs, and stretching the ankles. 9, last one, 10. Let's go the other way. And 1. I don't have as much range of motion going this way, I notice. 2, 3, and I'm a little unstable. 4, so that's always interesting to notice as well. 5, 6, 7. If you feel any pain, please go much smaller. 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Okay, so from here we're going to stretch. So I'm going to move the block out of the way and the strap out of the way for a moment. I'm going to do just an easy little hamstring stretch. I've got my hands on my stool. If you have a chair and you want to put your hands on the back of your chair, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to bring my right foot forward. So this is a little more of a dynamic stretch. I'm going to come down and up, changing legs. Down and up. Inhale, exhale. So the Pilates repertoire really works the hips, legs, right? All of the joints of the body. So we want to make sure that when we're moving in our Pilates exercises and when we're out in the world, not just in our Pilates exercises, that the muscles that cross the joints, the big joints of the body, the hips, the knees, the ankles, the spine, the shoulder girdle, that those muscles are balanced. One more each side. So this kind of routine helps you reestablish balance of the inner, outer, front, and back of your thigh. So that really helps to stabilize the knee joint. I'll talk about that more in a moment. Okay, so the next stretch, if you have a chair, you can put your hands on the back of your chair, or if you have a wall, you can do that. We're going to stretch the front of the hip. So I'm going to really open up the front of my right hip, making sure my kneecaps are pointed forward, reaching my right leg back, and I'm going to stretch my right arm up, trying to get my heel to go as close to the floor as it possibly can, opening that up, and then I'm going to change legs. So now I'm going to take my left leg back, left arm up, and reach. And bring that back and change. So if you have a chair, you can just put your hands on the chair and feel the stretch. I'm trying to curl my pubic bone forward, opening up the front of my hip and the front of my quadricep as I reach my leg back and my arm up on that right side. Changing sides. Left leg back, left arm up, almost curling my pelvis forward as I reach. And bring that back. One more time each side. I think I already said that once, but it feels so good. Let's do one more. And if you can't get the leg all the way back, or you're feeling pain in your knee, shorten up your stance and just open up as much as you possibly can. Lifting your core internally makes a big impact as well. And bring that all the way down. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move the stool out of the way. We're gonna lie back on our back, and I'm gonna move my mat down, my camera down just a tiny bit. Okay, we're gonna bridge. So we've opened up the soles of the feet so they have more contact with the floor. That's gonna be really beneficial for the bridge. So we press down through the bones of the feet. Only bring your legs in as much as is comfortable for your knees. We're strengthening the hamstrings here. So as I press down to my feet, already I feel the muscles in the back of my thighs. I'm going to curl my pubic bone up and press up. As I press up, I visualize those stickies on my knees pointed forward, not out to the side walls, but really directed forward, forward, forward. Inhale here, and as I exhale, I push down into my feet and I roll down one vertebra at a time, really putting attention on stretching my back, pulling my buttocks to my heels as I roll down. So I'm getting a spine stretch as well. Inhale, exhale, pressing down into my feet, reaching long through my kneecaps, really imprinting the bones of my feet into the floor. Inhale and exhale, rolling down. 2, and press up. 3. Again, pay attention to where your kneecaps are. You want them directed forward. For some folks, they like to put a yoga block between their inner thighs that helps them kind of stay a little more accountable with their leg alignment. You're welcome to do that. 5, and rolling down. And 6, and rolling down. Really waking up the muscles in the back of the thighs. the hamstrings and the glutes here. 7, and rolling down. 8. So of course I'm working my legs here, but I'm also really working my abdomen. So as I'm lifting my pelvis, it's not just dead weight that I'm lifting. I'm internally engaging my core, pulling my deep abdominals up towards my heart center, feeling my internal organs also ascending. Inhale, exhale, rolling down. Last one, and 10. Pressing up, feet pressed down, really connecting my feet to my hamstrings and glutes, and rolling down to the bottom. Good. All right, so now we're gonna roll over, coming up, and grab your stool again, or your chair. Okay, so right now we want to work on the quadriceps. We did the hamstrings, now we're going to work on the quads. So you're going to take your right leg, you're actually going to turn it out even a little bit. You're going to go down and lift up 1 and 2. So as I'm doing this, I start to feel my quad activate. Remember, what creates a healthy balanced knee is toning the back, the front, the inner and outer thigh. 5 and 6. So if you're watching me from the side angle, I'm not slouching, I'm sitting up nice and tall. 7, ooh, that makes my quad have to work even more. 8, 9, and 10. Changing legs, right? So we've got the left leg coming forward, turning out. You can see my kneecap is pointed out, and I'm lifting my leg up in a turn out position. 2, this is gonna help to turn on my inner knee a little bit more above the kneecap. 4, 5, this muscle pulls the kneecap directly onto its track. 6, it's called the VMO. 7 and 8, 2 more. 9, let's do one more set of those. 10, right leg forward, turned out. So my inseam is lifting up. 1, and I'm sitting up tall. 2. For those of you a little more hardcore, arms up behind the head. 3, 4, 5. How straight can that leg be? 6. Sit up nice and tall. 6 and 7. I think I said 7 or 6 twice. 8. 2 more. 9. Last one. 10. Other side. Forward. Turn out. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. So you really want to be feeling this in your quadricep. 5, 6. Really straight with that leg. 7, 8. 2 more. 9. Last one. 10. And bring that all the way down. Great. Okay, so now we're going to work on the inner thighs. So you're going to lie back on your back. I'm going to move my stool out of the way. Lie back on your back. If you have a yoga block, grab it and place it underneath your top knee. Okay, my bottom leg is pointed forward. So you can see the sticky on my knee. It should be directed directly forward towards the camera, towards you guys. A lot of times what happens is I see clients start to turn their thigh out and they're lifting from their inner thigh. For this particular variation, I want your leg really neutral so that your thigh bone is directly pointed forward, right? My kneecap is pointed directly forward and I'm lifting my inner thigh all the way close to my pubic bone up. 1, 2, and 3. The other thing that's really important is try to straighten your leg as much as possible. 4, 5. The other mistake I see people make is they start to pull their leg forward. Don't pull forward, almost try to go backwards towards the very back of your mat. 6, 7, and 8. If you're feeling anything negative in your knee, 9 and 10. We're gonna bring it down, rest a moment. If you need a pillow under your bottom ear on your right side, you're welcome to do that. Okay, here we go, one more set. And really lengthening through the waist so I'm not collapsed in my core, I'm not compromising my spine to get my leg to do what I want it to do. I'm holding my good core alignment and I lift up. 1. Think of that kneecap pointed directly forward. 2, 3, all the way from the deep pelvic floor, inner thigh connection, 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna do the other side. So again, think about those kneecaps and where you want them directed. We want the kneecaps pointed forward, helping to support and preserve the knee joint by creating balance in the whole, actually pelvis here, right? Because the inner thighs attach up to the pelvis, they cross the knee joint and they go all the way down to the inner ankle. So we want to really pay attention to that alignment. Here we go, lifting up that bottom inner thigh. How's my little tag doing? Is it sticking forward? Here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, 4. I kind of lost my tag here. 5. Oh well. 6. Remember, we're doing 2 sets of these. 7. So make each one really great. 8. 2 more. 9, and 10. Whew. Bring it down. Rest a moment. Just gonna see if I can fix this little guy here. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna lift up. 1, 2. Remember to take the leg towards the back of your mat a little bit. 3, so your quadricep isn't pulling your leg forward. 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. 2 more really straight with that leg. 9, oh boy, 10. Good job, and bring it down. Okay, we're gonna move the block out of the way. So if we did inner thigh, it would logically make sense that we have to move and strengthen the muscles of our outer hips and buttocks. So I'm going to keep my legs really straight. For those of you who are concerned a little bit about balance, you can take your bottom leg forward towards the front corner of your mat or keep your legs really, really straight. So I'm going to relax my top foot. I'm making sure my kneecap is pointed forward, not to the floor and not to the ceiling. Okay, it's just straight ahead, and I'm going to lift from the muscles of my outer hips and buttocks. I'm not lifting from the top of the thigh. In other words, I'm not lifting from the sensations here. It's back in the glute area more, okay? So we're gonna lift up the glute medius here and down. Exhale, press up, 2, and down, and 3. I encourage you to go a little bit slower. These muscles here sometimes take a little bit of time to fire up. 5, and down. Exhale, 6. If we go too fast, we miss it. 7, and down. Exhale, 8, and down. Hoo boy. 9, these are so effective. Last one, 10, and bring it down. Rest a moment. When you rest, you can kind of bring the knee down and just stretch out. You can even kind of give it a little rub, pat it. Okay, we're gonna do another set of 10, just so we did the inner thighs, we did them twice. So here we go, my knees are directed forward, and I'm lifting up. 1, and down. Exhale, 2, and down, and 3. Keep that leg slightly behind you. 4. The temptation would be to pull forward because those quads want to take over. 5. For most of us, our quads are dominant. 6. And these muscles, 7, are often weak relative to those. 8. 2 more. 9. Last one. And 10. Oh boy, and bring that down. Holy smokes. Okay, let's go to the other side. Remember, we're strengthening all 4 quadrants of your thigh. Not just your inner thigh, not just your outer thigh, not just the quad and the hamstring. They all need to be ideally equally strong. Creating balance across the knee joint. Here we go. Relax the foot and lift up. 1, and down. This is my stronger side. 2, I can feel it. 3, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to poop out. 4, and 5, So you can see my foot is pretty relaxed here, and that's intentional. 6 and 7 and 8, 2 more, 9 and 10. I bring it down, rest a moment, kind of bring it across, stretch, rub it down, give it a bit of a whack. Okay, one more set of 10. Here we go. Remember to keep the legs slightly behind, right? Because as we start getting tired, our go-to muscle, typically the quadricep, is going to start pulling the thigh forward. So keep it in line with your body, lifting up 1 and 2, energizing the abdominals here, 3, 4 and 5, 6, ooh, really starting to feel it, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, 10, and bring that down. Awesome. Okay, so last thing we're gonna do is the glute connection. So the glutes really help to support the whole posture and the connection where the thigh and the glute meet. They help to also strengthen and create balance between the quadricep. So I want to bend my knee. What I like to do is put my hands actually under the front of my hips. This ensures me that my hip bones are pushing down into my hands. My forehead just rests on the mat, and I'm going to lift my heel up. And as I lift my heel up, I can really feel my glute turn on, and I want that. So I'm going to lift my glute max, feeling that contraction, but keep my pelvis down. 1, 2. I'm only lifting a couple of inches off the floor, if maximum. 3, 4. I'm keeping my pubic bone really anchored into the mat, so I'm not arching my back. 6, 7, oh my gosh, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Yowzers. And I can also feel that my knee wants to get pulled off to the side of my mat, but I'm imagining those stickies directed straight back, so they're not veering to the left or the right. They're going straight back, pushing my pubic bone down, and I'm lifting up my left heel. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, relax the head and shoulders, 6, and 7, and 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Let's do one more time on each side. Make sure that right kneecap is pointed straight back, not off to the right side of your mat. Lift up. 1. Keep your hips heavy into your hands. 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't have to be big to be effective. 5, and 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Good job. Other side. Left kneecap pointed directly back off the very back end of my mat, and I'm lifting up. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10, and bring it down. Awesome. Okay, so that's it for your exercises. Now we've got to work the stretches. So you're going to grab your strap, put your strap around your right foot, reach that right leg to the sky, lengthen your left leg, although if that bothers your low back, you can always keep the sole of the foot flat, and stretch your hamstring. So everybody's hamstring flexibility is unique to them. What I encourage you to do, number 1, is make sure that your foot is directly on top of your hip. It's not veering off to the side, across your body, or out to the right, not yet anyway. You're reaching your heel to the ceiling, and don't worry about pulling your foot to your face. Right now, focus more on your ability to straighten the back of the knee joint as much as you can without feeling any sort of negative pressure or pain. You might feel a good stretch, but I don't want you to feel any pain. And I'm pulling my toes towards my face, applying a little bit of downward pressure with that strap, so kind of pulling the strap towards the floor, going straight down. And then little by little, if I feel like I've got a little more range in my hamstring, I start to pull my whole thigh and knee and shin towards my face, not just my knee. And slowly straighten that leg. One more breath here. Good, let's change legs. So left leg goes into the strap, right leg is nice and long. This is my tighter side, so I need to be a lot more methodical about my alignment here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of go to whatever feels comfortable, and comfortable isn't always the best, right? I also wanna make sure that I'm in a neutral spine and pelvis, meaning I'm not totally tucking my tail and kind of lifting up into a rounded back position, nor am I arching into a saddleback position. I'm really in a neutral spinal position where my back has a tiny little space, right, where the back of my belly button is. And that just naturally preserves the curvatures of my low back. That curvature is really important for shock absorption. We need it, but it also can be a vulnerable place, so you want to make sure that you're engaging your abdomen to support that curvature in your low back. And again, it's not forced, it's just natural because it's there. Reach your heel to the sky. One more breath here. And you can hang out here as long as you'd like. There's no rush. It's a very rare client that I've ever asked to not be in a hamstring stretch for a long time, right? Okay, so very last stretch. Actually, we got 2 more to go. Second to last stretch is a hip stretch. So I'm gonna put the block underneath my buttocks, and I'm going to hug my left knee into my chest. I'm tipping my pelvis back towards my head, and I'm curling my pubic bone towards the ceiling. If the yoga block is too pokey for you, some people only have wooden yoga blocks. If the yoga block is too pokey for you, you can always put a yoga bolster or a stack of pillows or blankets or rolled up towels just to elevate your pelvis a little bit higher than your head, so your leg has something to kind of go up and over. So I'm really stretching the front of my right thigh. And again, those stickies, really valuable because they are reminding me to point my kneecap to the ceiling, not let my knee splay out to the right. And that is harder said than done because I have to work my inner thigh a little bit, even as I'm stretching my quadricep and my psoas, which is the deep, deep, deep hip flexor. 2 more breaths here. One more breath. If it's hard on your knee to hug the knee into your chest, you can always hold behind your knee. You know, I was holding the top of my shin, but you can always hold behind your knee as you pull your left knee into your chest, reaching that right leg long, so you don't ever have to compress your knee joint if that doesn't work for you. Okay, changing legs. So I like to pull both legs in first, getting a nice stretch in my low back, and then I extend my left leg as I keep hugging my right knee into my chest. And I can really feel how tight my left hip flexor is. Tight hip flexors cause also tight knees. So we want to stretch those hip flexors. And that helps to relax all the way down the chain, all the way across the knee joint, over the kneecap. Give yourself a couple more breaths here. Again, you can always hold the back of your thigh if that feels better for you. Kind of behind the knee joint. One more breath. Good. Bringing both feet down. Moving the yoga block out of the way. And let's go into a figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee. Hug the back of my right thigh with my hands. So I'm interlacing. And I'm gently pulling in my right leg. And that feels really good for my